Welcome back to the Pull the Chair podcast brought to you by the Grit Network. I am your host, Paris Brown, with my two co-hosts, Tyler Reddington and Dylan Lima. How are you guys doing this week?
I'm doing
Man,
pretty good. I'm doing pretty
that was
good.
pretty exciting yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, yeah, no, I mean the All Star game. I like the new format of the All Star game. There's a lot of things that we could definitely nitpick about it, but all in all, I thought it was better than maybe more eventful than previous years.
You know,
Yeah,
we'll
I'm not gonna
definitely.
lie. My heart was beating kind of fast towards the end when Darren Fox hit that last three. I wanted to see that third game because that second game wouldn't have mattered if Darren Fox didn't hit the three. The third game wouldn't have even mattered. So I love to see the competition. Wimby got it started off strong,
Oh
setting
yeah,
the
and
stage
Wimby
for a
cared.
fiery competition. So man, I loved every minute of it.
Oh yeah, listen, that's one of the first topics. We're definitely going to get into the All-Star game. Going to get into Adam Silver really getting on the teams for tanking this year. That's going to be a big topic we get into. And the big news during the All-Star break, possibly Kevin Durant's account getting hacked. So that's going to be a big thing we get into. Plus, there's a little bit of talk about the Western Conference at the end of the episode. So stay tuned. But yeah, we already started about it. All-Star weekend was this weekend. You had Dame, who hadn't played a single game in the entire season, winning the three-point contest, and then you had Miami Center winning the slam dunk contest. And but we'll start with Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, like I said, hasn't played a single game all season and goes out there and wins the three-point contest. So I
I,
feel
I
like
think
he should have been he should have been allowed to play in that. That's my first thing.
no, no, it's a
Because
disgrace
he's a
that they
two-time
even allowed
champ.
him.
He is.
I mean, yeah, but I guess, but when you haven't played a single game, like it doesn't make sense to give him an opportunity to play in the All-Star game. Like you haven't played a game. You should be out on injury, not doing three-point competition. Like I
He just
guess they
showed
really
up.
had no one else
Just showed
show
up.
up.
I got
Like
it.
literally no one else showed up. It's like, all right, Dame, I'll just carry it this year, and then he won it. Like of all, like it makes no sense why he should have even been allowed to.
I mean, also all your contestants. You had Devin Booker, Con Canuple, Damian Lillard, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Bobby Portis, Norman Powell. Norman Powell gets a lot of recognition this All Star weekend, All Star game, All Star three point contest. First of all, Bobby Portis. Now we'll go to that. Bobby Portis in three-point contest seems kind of I feel like they can kind of tell they had nobody in the three-point contest. So you have Bobby Portis. That's more than Norman Powell. Norman Powell can shoot. It's one thing of him in the All-Star game. Norman Powell can shoot. But Bobby Portis in the three-point contest?
I mean, he can shoot threes, but you're definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel if you're looking at Bobby Portis as a potential like star. Like you couldn't get any younger guys. Like I would love to see a
Right.
Cam Thomas out there. I would love to see like actual bucket getters that can shoot. Michael Porter Jr. I'm not sure if he's been healthy, but if he was, why wasn't he there? You know, like Damian Lillard's there. He didn't play a single game.
Right.
So what's stopping Michael Porter Jr. from lacing it up for a 3-point competition?
And with that point, I mean, obviously the NBA is still far away from getting the right players in the slam dunk contest and in the three-point contest. Now, after Damian Lillard won, he took to Instagram to say, hey, he hit up Curry, and now Curry's talking about
Mm-hmm.
getting Clay and then Book, and four other real shooters, as he would say. So maybe this weekend will be a preface to something worth watching in the
I,
future.
I
We
don't know about Klay
all
Thompson, man.
well, Clay's a sniper too. I mean, those are
Was
just
a
pure
sniper.
shooters that you love to watch shoot the basketball. And
You-
we've been complaining about the All Star game for all the obvious reasons, and just looking with the glass half full, this might be a start. This potentially could be a start of something good. That's the point I'm trying to make is that you know it was absolutely nothing before this weekend, and now there's a chance that it could be something. And it just took a little bit of effort as far as the All Star game. Now you got 3-point champion recruiting the real studs of the game. Everybody wants to watch Steph Curry in the 3-point competition,
100%.
and
100%.
I know he might be washed right now, but people want to see Klay Thompson in the 3-point competition as well. So
I don't know anymore, man. Listen, it's just past his time. Like, obviously, in his time, 100%. Either you wanted to see him, but Klay Thompson, it's just he's not there anymore, man. He's not.
I mean, as far as like I think what the NBA should do, especially for this year, like they should kind of just keep the formats the same. Like I'm sick of the same like different formats changing every single year and trying different things. I do think they could definitely gotten some better names. Like even with a Clay Thompson, it's like at least it's like a name that people want to see. Like even if he's not, because like I mean again, you have 8 guys shooting threes at the end of
Mhm.
the day, so it's like I'd rather have names than like all right, throw Bobby Portis out there. We need him. We'll get a Dame that hasn't played, and like they, I mean Norman Powell, like I came to respect Norman Powell's game, but I'm still standing on the ground that he's not all star like normally. It's just like he's
Yeah.
the Heat representation for the All Star game. That's the only way I look at him.
The 3-point contest was way better than the dunk contest, which was and one of the worst I have ever seen in NBA history.
Talking about the dunk contest, we can go. We can go to dunk contest. Keyshawn Johnson from the Miami Heat was the winner of the dunk contest, barely beating Carter Bryant. But everybody got to talk about the J.C. Richardson dunk. That
Uh,
dunk and Jackson Hayes. You got two dunks
well,
everyone wants to talk about.
Well,
For
the
one,
James Richardson dunk was like people always say we've seen everything before, but we've never seen a dude get knocked out cold. So at least that's something new that we saw. I mean, like thank goodness he's okay. Like I don't mean to like make a
listen,
fun at his pain, but it's something new. We haven't seen that before.
listen. I
Uh,
mean,
the,
the fact that he's okay, he needs to get made fun for it. That's what it comes down to. Now, if he wasn't okay, then it's like, all right, man, let's clearly care for him. But the fact that he's okay, yeah, man, you got to get laughed at because what was that? What was that?
and to be quite frank, I think that's why a lot of people don't do the slam dunk competition because on this stage, getting embarrassed like that is probably the worst thing that could happen. And they've been trying to recruit like the legendary dunkers, the legendary athletes to do this for so long and still cannot do it. And
Hmm.
you feel why. Because and he took to Instagram to show what that dunk would have looked like if he completed it. Yeah, it was a nice dunk. But in front of thousands, millions of people, when you fall flat on your back and you got to call the ambulance basically to come get this guy off the floor, yeah, and he's an
That's pretty
athlete.
bad.
He's a stud. But
Yeah.
that was a total embarrassment. I feel bad for the dude, but man,
And then you got
I'm a
Jackson Hayes, who pulled out, most amazing dunk we've ever seen in our life. Just that one-handed dunk. You don't see those, man. You never see those.
Never. I mean, it's not like a 42-year-old LeBron could dunk it harder than he did, like doing the side, like because it looked like a bad LeBron dunk the way he
I
did it,
feel
and also going on what I was saying about changing the formats, like don't we remember when everybody got a 1 through 10 and you had a 50? Now everybody could just put an arbitrary number between like 46 and 50. Like what's the point? Like
Yeah.
what are we doing
Yeah.
here? Why? So now we got to average this. Now we got to do math.
and then
Yeah, we could just like what are we doing?
it started also with players complaining about Mac McClung being in this slam dunk contest. So Adam Silver says, "Okay, no, we can't have Matt McClung in it." And then all of a sudden, it's like,
Yeah,
what are you
terrible.
watching? I think the Jackson Hayes invite went to the wrong email. I think he got an email he wasn't supposed to get because what is that dude doing in the slam dunk contest?
That was. Yeah, at least one of those. The one that guy who injured himself. That's embarrassing. But at least he was trying something. Jackson Hayes was like, okay, wow, yeah, wow.
I mean, somebody's got to do it, man. Like, talk about bombing the barrel. Like, the dunk competition is arguably worse than the 3-point competition at, like,
It is.
getting people to do it. So it's like, I have to give the respect that's due to actually go out there and try to put great dunks in, but it's like, I don't know how you can fix a dunk competition at this point. It feels like it's almost lost. Like, maybe we could replace it with a different type of competition instead. But like,
Yeah,
it's just not it anymore. Like, I feel like we've seen the dunks over the cars. We got to see Aaron Gordon sit over a friggin' mascot in midair and somehow lose a dunk competition after
we
doing
had those
that
Blake
dunk.
Griffin
But
years.
That, by
yeah,
the
like,
way, was the greatest slam dunk competition to this day. That was
Yeah,
one. That was one of the ones that
and
you
so you
know.
can't top that. And so every year it's just kind of consistently going down, and to the point now you've seen so many dunks. It's kind of hard to make one you've never seen before because it's
Well,
all been done.
I mean, Levine made a joke of the free throw line dunk. Like that was how he won because he was just doing everything from the free throw line. Like when Jordan first did the dunk from the free throw line, everybody had their mind blown. Like whoa, like oh my god, he did it from where? From the free throw line? And Levine's like, yeah, I got 4 different dunks of me doing like different windmills and shit from the free throw line. So it's like at this point, like unless you're gonna throw it off the scoreboard and come back with the dunk like it's old NBA Live games, like we're just done for. Let me see a front flip. You
Yeah,
know?
as Andre would say, there's only so many dunks you can do. You need to replace it. I mean, at this point, it kind of seems like it just there's not too much more you can do. We've seen it all. But if you had to replace it, what is something you would replace it with? Because at this point, it's
One-on-one.
hard to get players. What do you think players would do it though? Because that's the problem. You don't get players to do the dunk contest. So what we don't get
Yeah,
the players
but
to do.
the real dogs would do it, and you saw how it worked out in the Unrivaled, the women's man. That was, say what you want about women's basketball. That was fun to watch. It was competitive. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And I do think there's so many different factors that make that probably not a real possibility. But I would say a fan would love to see Kyrie Irving go one-on-one with Anthony Edwards. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that?
I mean, you'd have to do like a guard one, a forward one, and a center one. I feel like.
Yeah, that's tough. But I thought of an interesting idea. How about instead of horse, you do like pig? Where it's like, all right, maybe you want to do a through the leg dunk. All right, try to do a through the leg dunk back. If you want to do like a 3-point shot from the like where the fans are standing, you can do that. Where it's
Okay.
like you have some variety, where it's not just dunks, but you can do like one-handed shot off one foot from like the 3-point line or something. Like at least you'll have some kind of variety where not everything is dunks.
Yeah, I could say that. That's
And
something that a lot of people do in their free time. People do that all the time in their free time with their friends. So I mean, yeah.
did y'all see Mac McClung, what he posted, the dunks that he would have done if he was in the slam dunk contest?
I did see those. I did see those. And
He
again,
would
they
have
were
won
nice.
again.
Mac is nice. I mean, that's what he can do. He can dunk.
Just give him the trophy name because he's just stuck in the G League forever. The only reason why most people know who he is because he shows up and dunks better than everybody else. And Amson was like, "Go back to the G League, buddy," and then he just goes back to the G League. Like it's like if we have to go into the G League to get our best dunkers, then it just only perpetuates the problem we're talking about.
And that's also the biggest issue with the dunk contest. It's not even just that we've seen most dunks. It's just most people don't do it. We have people like Anthony Edwards in the league and Aaron Gordon. I know Aaron Gordon's hurt right now, but Aaron Gordon's in the league that can still dunk. But none of them are ever in the dunk contest. You're always getting these random people to do the dunk contest.
I
It wouldn't-
don't blame Aaron Gordon for stopping. He got robbed
Bro.
too many times. I respect him for saying I'm done with this crap.
I get it. And then I mean, but and then you go to the All-Star game. Somehow, the World didn't win a single game. The Stars ended up winning it all. They beat the World 37-35. They did lose to the Stripes in their first game, 40-42, but then they beat the Stripes 47-21. But the World went 0-3 against the teams. And in a time where I feel like a lot of people were expecting this World team to dominate this, they didn't win a single game.
And I know a lot of the slack is on Luka and Jokic. Now, respect to Luka, I mean, in a sense that he literally was just coming off an injury. He hasn't played a game up until that. He was the #1 vote getter in the NBA for the first time, so he wanted to come out there for his fans. But for Jokic, who has come back from the injury and played in games, for him not to try, it's almost disrespectful to the game of basketball. And that's where, he was called out twice. He was called out by Kevin Durant, and then he was called out by Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jokic is a competitor, and I just did not like to see that at all. It was not a good look for Jokic. And, the jury's out on Luka, because he hasn't done it in the past. But, Luka, if, he's healthy and there's a competition, he's going to be competing. That's just Luka. But for both of them, honestly, it's not a good look because people don't really know that Luka was injured, so they just think he wasn't trying. But that was the main downfall because Victor Wembanyama, You saw the first play of the game.
Yeah,
He
he was there.
won the
He was ready.
tip. He went down. He posted up. He slam dunked. Game on.
Yeah,
And from
I
there,
mean,
it was a competitive game.
he set the tone, no doubt. And Anthony Edwards is talking about how if Victor Wembanyama didn't set the tone early, probably people wouldn't have took it as seriously. But
Hmm.
to go back to the Jokic and Luka point, I mean, respectfully, like I know obviously Luka and Jokic are top three players in the league. I mean, you could argue maybe Luka's falling more towards five, but regardless, we're talking about the elite of the elite. If he was really that hurt and couldn't play, then he should have gotten a replacement. With all due respect. Because at the end of the
Right.
day, it's like even just throwing caution to the wind and with the fear of re-aggravation, it's just not worth it. Um, but also it's a bad look when you have two of those guys playing like 5 minutes each in the first game and just not showing up for the rest of the games. Like, like that. That also sets a bad precedent where it's like, all right, at least like I like the format as an idea because the only way you're gonna make these guys care is by attacking their pride. And obviously, the American teams want to make sure that the international guys don't beat them. So I
Hmm.
think that's a great idea. But if Jokic doesn't want to play and Luka doesn't, I mean, Luka, I mean, I'm under the pretense that he was fine and could have, but didn't. Assuming that, like, get replacements, man. Like, Luka could just say, all right, I'm hurt. I'm not, like, I can't do this. And then Jokic could just fake an injury. Like, we've seen how many people fake injuries and not show up to regular games. Like, this makes no difference to me. It's just, I hate, like, how, we always give flack to the American players for being lazy and not caring, but Jokic and Luka should definitely bear that burden too, no doubt.
I mean, are we
Yeah.
surprised about Jokic though? I mean, that dude barely cares enough to play in the games. Like he's really good. He got nothing but talent, but like there's just during the season, there's talk about how much they really care about it, and then the end of the season they win the finals. It looks like he could care less that he won the finals. He's ready to go back home. So are we surprised that he could care less about this All Star game? He's not one of those players that just loves the game of basketball. He's good at it. So during that time, I'll play it. But having to do extra stuff, he really should have just said no because obviously his heart's not into it. So why take that spot in the first place?
And we have
And
plenty of other
most
international
people,
guys that
Yeah,
could be worth it.
eh, and world or not world, like most people were coming into this weekend thinking that it wouldn't be competitive. I saw a clip of KD asking, "Hey, Ant, you playing tomorrow?" He's like, "Nah." But then he sees Wimby does what he does. He's like, "I gotta play now." So
right.
that's
He's like,
that's
hold on, hold
Ah.
on.
like so. Hopefully, again, that this is a shift in the All Star game because the NBA needs it. God knows they need it. And
Mhm.
Luke is going to hear all this. I'd be very, very surprised if Luke is healthy next year if he doesn't compete and do a better job. Jokic, I'm not going to say the same, just because, like you said, sometimes I wonder if he really even loves the game like some of these other guys do. He's one of the
Well,
greatest, but
I'm gonna fan a
does he
flame of
love
a
it?
room. Well, okay, so I think I'm gonna fan a flame here that we've seen how buddy Luka and Jokic have been. Like during like the All Star photos, Luka sack tapping Jokic after Jokic was bothering him. Like obviously they seem to be very close. I think Jokic cared to more sit on the bench and just be all buddy with Luka to be like, hey, we should link up, we should join the same team when we're both free agents or whatever, or try to find a team that could fit both of us. Like I think is a very valid thing to be worried about or at least like to think about, because I feel like we've seen like Jokic and Luka being friends, and I think seeing how this All Star game played out in the media and all of that, I think that should only make people speculate more. Like, is this gonna be something that could happen?
I don't think you're crazy for saying that at all. I mean, I really don't. Like, they, besides the fact that they're friends, they're also like two of the greatest players, and you know you got a big and a small. Like to say that they haven't talked about it at least now in the past when Dallas had Luca and a reporter asked Jokic, "Hey, would you play with Luca?" Uh, he did say he would have to come here to Denver, but I guarantee you, besides just the media talking about it, that could be a topic, and that would be crazy.
Can you see Luca leaving the Lakers to go play for Denver though?
Yeah, he has no personal connection to LA. I don't think he like, if anything, he got his heart ripped out even leaving Dallas in the first place. I mean, I don't know how close LeBron and Luca are. I can't imagine they are. I mean, I feel
I
like
don't think
LeBron's
so.
in his own stratosphere that it's like LeBron does what LeBron wants to do, Luca does what he wants to do, and I don't think that Lakers team is really looking to go anywhere anyways, all things considered. Like, they have the flashy names, but, like, are you going to win with the Lakers? It's yet to be seen. So
I
I
doubt
wouldn't
it.
be surprised if Luka finds the first way out of LA that he can.
And then
28, summer 28. We'll find out.
I want to just mention the game between the Stripes and the World. Kawhi in 12 minutes dropped 31 points. Went 11 for 13 shooting and 6 for 7 at the 3-point line. The dude took a shot per minute and basically made every shot. Where is this in the season? Now, I'm not going to say he doesn't do this in the season because he's been playing good, but man, this dude goes into this Stripes vs. World game and says, you know what? Let me put on my best Kawhi Leonard performance you've ever seen.
He got the memo that they could void his contract and said, "Hold on, Adam Silver, hold on. Let me show you something. Let me show you what I could do." And when Kawhi Leonard is in his element like that, he's playing. He really is just so fun to watch. I mean, he was hitting threes out of nowhere. His handle was tight. He was taking people to the hole and then shooting jump shots. Man, it was really, really fun to watch Kawhi, and he was in his home court. You saw Steve Ballmer there going nuts. I thought that was awesome.
I think it's just like I know Kawhi. It's always been the availability problem, and like I feel like everybody points back to Zaza having like his foot underneath Kawhi and having his whole leg mess up and his knee and his ankle and all that. And like ever since then, he just hasn't been an available guy. But it's like I don't know what we can do to get him to be a fully available dude. But he's clearly him. He's still him. He'll still like he will be him for quite a while because 11 minutes, 30 points. Like that's
insane.
superhuman. That's superhuman. Not missing a shot, taking every single shot. Like when he's dialed in, like you can really put it. Like who would you take over like a fully healthy, locked in Kawhi? There's not many players you can take over.
He's also one of the best defenders in the league still. Like the dude, can palm shots. He can guard any position, and then he goes out there and does that. It's like fully healthy Kawhi is a
and every time somebody
tries
to, and every time somebody tries to say he's done, he shows that he's not, and he doesn't look like he's anywhere close to being done. And he brought that fiery competition that everybody loved to see. I mean, Kawhi now he does love the game of basketball, like absolutely. It doesn't matter if it's warm-ups. It doesn't matter if it's the in-season tournament. Kawhi's going to be competing. And we need more of that. His
body just doesn't like the game of basketball, man. Because he loves it. It's just his body can't take all the physicalities of basketball. Andre was saying that was retro Kawhi. Don't know if we'll see that again. I mean, not this year. Not with the Clippers. Clippers aren't doing anything, so he's got no reason to put that type of performance out there. He's kind of the last piece.
Basketball is a naturally demanding sport. I mean, you're playing every other night. Some nights I'm back-to-back, constantly having to run and jump and all that. And obviously, Kawhi's legs is obviously not there to be able to be there night to night. But it's like playoff Kawhi, like seeing what he can do in the playoffs. Like obviously, that's when he's at his best and like when the games matter the most. And it's like there is no tomorrow. But like this Clippers team's not going to be it for him to show that. So like I don't know, it's tough with that. It really is. And he's stuck there. Thanks to his KL3 company that surely isn't money under the table, and he only gets that money if he's on the Clippers. Nothing to see here, Adam Silver. No, but let's talk about the NBA draft instead. Like it's like all right, whatever.
Last thing I want to mention, just because it has to do with the playoffs, and maybe this is kind of a different topic, but Kevin Durant obviously was in the All-Star game, not really doing much because he's got a lot of off the court things going on with him now, as it seems as everybody's speculating that this burner account is Kevin Durant's. And have you guys seen the things he's saying about? Seen the things he's been saying about these people?
The KD files are out. Get Off My Dickerson had a lot to say about his current and former players, and man,
KD files.
It is going to be hard to say that what Kevin Durant. I don't know how he's going to hide that one, y'all. You're talking about Book, who was his former teammate, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Alperen Sengun,
Smith,
and then Jabari Smith. I mean, everything.
Talking about Russell Westbrook.
mean,
He's unapologetically him. I mean, like he has no benefit of the doubt considering he's been caught with burners before. So like seeing what he says and knowing how Kevin Durant doesn't hold back to anyone, like it has to be him. Like there's
No,
just like it just doesn't make sense. Like it's like oh
it,
come on Kevin, you did it again, didn't you?
and
Like
he was even on his phone during
during the
like
game.
between games, and he looked like he was about to catch a indictment for life sentence. So I think this dude, man, I think he got exposed. I think get off my got exposed, and you know what, man, if I'm his
The real
teammate, I'm just
question,
reading that like,
the real question is,
what
how do
the
you
hell?
guys feel about him saying these things? Because in my personal opinion, I've seen him. It's funny. I genuinely don't care, just because it's one. It's is it somewhat you can say it's immature, but it's more like he acts like how we do when our team is doing bad. When
no,
our
I
team is
love it.
doing bad, we start calling people out of their name for no reason, and then we start doing good, we could care less. It looks like he's doing the
I
exact
mean,
same thing just on the court.
I mean, look, Kevin
Yeah,
Durant's a human. He's like he's being him. Like
Yeah,
like I hate the corporatized world that we live in, where it's like you got to be super professional and on 10 at all times. It's like how are you gonna police him making another burner account to talk shit about
he's
people?
just gonna do it
Like
again.
he's gonna do it again. Like you can't stop him from doing it. Are you gonna punish him for having a burner account? And it wasn't like he was saying this in public to people. Like he had this in a group chat. So clearly, someone in the group chat is like, "Man, Katie's on one. Someone we gotta show
Yeah,
other people what he's saying. Like he's just too funny. Like that's the only like he's
it's
just
just
being
too
funny.
funny.
Like he's just a funny dude. What can I say? Like I can't hate Kevin Durant for doing stuff.
and it's not like he is just saying it behind his back. He tells Alpine Sengun that to his face, like, you know. And I get the frustration with some of the teammates, like, but also those are the guys you're riding with. So I mean, yeah. And I was just so surprised that he was talking about James Harden in such a positive light. Like that was the one dude that didn't catch the most smoke was James Harden. I mean, he had a lot to say about Kyrie, and you know, he said Kyrie wasn't competing basically with him, or saying that kind of was an overstatement, and that's how I read it. But man, what a
Game
bomb
respects
this
game.
weekend!
Only thing I gotta say is about like anybody who's played sports has had moments like that. Even if you didn't get say it out loud to somebody, you've had moments where you had somebody on your team had a bad game and you went off and talked to one of your friends talking about, man, this guy sucks. Or even maybe you got an argument with that person on the floor, on the court, on the field, in the locker room, bickering about how bad they're doing. But after that game settled, next day, it's fine. It is what it is. It just happens. This dude's
It's
doing the same
trash
thing.
talk.
Just
Kevin Durant's just trash talking. Like, are we really that soft where you can't trash talk anymore? Like, these dudes say the most crazy shit on the court. Now you can't say it in a group chat. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
and it's
Yeah, it
funny to
was
say it
funny. I'm
because
not gonna lie.
I think it's more funny. It's like, oh, NBA's investigating him. Like he's about to, like, what are you about? We about to find this guy for saying stuff on Twitter? Like, okay, that's what
Yeah.
we're worried about now.
And it really does
No.
show some of his competitiveness. Like he's a hooper, man. He's just talking hoops.
And that's
He's
why he
not talking
respects
about
James
them.
Harden. He loves
Exactly.
Yeah,
hoopers. James Harden's a hooper, bro.
yeah.
He
And
has.
so
It
it's just funny that the whole world gets to see what he's thinking now. I don't know if he would have wanted it that way, but hey, Kevin, just like you
I
said,
love it.
Dylan, Kevin
Hey,
Durant is
Kevin
going to be
Durant's getting
Kevin
older.
Durant.
He's like, man, I could care less, man. I'm just gonna say what I gotta say, whatever. It's getting
He's
caught. It's
freedom
like
of
he's always like
speech.
he's always like, oh shit, I got caught. What are they gonna do? But like, I mean, it's definitely not gonna
Oh
be the one that
yeah.
like I didn't say it. He's gonna like, yeah, whatever, man. Like you say, all he's gonna do is make another one. Just start doing it
Yeah.
again.
It
It's
was
gonna
so
be
funny in
get
the press
on my
conference.
Dickerson this time. Yeah, it's gonna be something
Yeah,
stupid.
Demarcus' cousin asked him. He said, "What would you?" He like, would you rather not have, like Twitter or I forgot what the other thing was. He's like, I'd take away Twitter. These guys don't deserve my godlike talk on Twitter, and that's just like his personality, and it was so funny, man. He's just laughing, and Demarcus Cousins just laughing. Katie's good for the game. Love
Yeah,
him.
it's funny just to see how like serious they're really taking this. But going into a big topic that the commissioner out in Silver is really into right now is the NBA's issue of tanking. Now, Adam Silver is huge on this. He's trying to see if any means necessary to stop teams from tanking. He just fined the Jazz $500,000 for that incident of them benching Laurie Markkinen and Jaren Jackson Jr. when they're up late in the game. And then he also fined the Pacers $100,000, which for benching Pascal Siakam back-to-back games without having a medical reason. Now, my thing is, at least for the Pacers, I think it was kind of unfair. And I understand what he's saying, that like if I bench him 2 games without him having a medical reason, I can somewhat see, where the issue is. But Pascal Siakam has played 51 out of 55 games for the Pacers and is averaging 33 minutes in those 51 games. He missed 2 games and now we get punished. Like, okay, man. Like, all right, he missed 2 games, we get a $100,000 fine. Like, seriously, it's not. It really wasn't that serious. But the Jazz, you can see it. You're winning a game and you basically purposely on live television choose to lose. You can't do that.
This just begs the question, because Adam Silver in the league, like according to Yahoo Sports, they're talking like they're in talks about abolishing the NBA draft. Is the NBA draft savable at this point? Do we need to make a whole nother system? I feel like I should ask you guys this first. I heard an interesting idea of a replacement, but I'm curious what you guys think about the draft, or maybe there's any other remedies that we could do to at least fix the tanking issue.
I mean, with the lottery.
The reason for the tank this year is because of how deep the draft is this year and how it falls off the next 2 years. So there's just ultra emphasis on getting the best pick this year. I really don't think that you could take off the NBA draft. His other solutions were make them free agents or make them play in a tournament, and I don't see that. I don't see how that would work out. Like. I just, there's not like a good answer right away. I do think punishing these teams as much as you can will help. But, we talked about this, like some of those billionaires are just going to do what they're going to do. But I know just for this year, like people are wanting, 1 through 8 is loaded and people are doing everything that they could do to get that. And, Adam Silver, I said last week he was going to address it in the All-Star, and he did. It looks like he's coming down hard. And, even teams that look like they're tanking, like the Pacers, like you said, like nobody thought the Pacers were tanking, but he's putting his foot down. And I do hope to see, less tanking going forward. But I don't know the solution for it. I don't think anybody does.
See, I feel like, one, that's somewhat what the lottery was for. Because you can tank, you could go 0-81 and not guarantee you a number 1 pick. You could go 0-81 and fall 4th or 5th because of the lottery. But I feel like that's kind of what, the lottery is for. Obviously, the worse you are, the higher chance you get, but it doesn't guarantee you the number 1 pick. But I personally don't fully see tanking as the biggest issue in my opinion. Because we all want to see teams do good. I understand that. Tanking it's not always, but it can be the quickest way to build your team back up. It's kind of like how the Pacers are doing right now. Obviously, we're not full on tanking, but we have no Halliburton. And in the beginning of the season, I don't think when we started the season, we were let's go into the season and tank. That was not the idea. But when you start the season and Nembhard gets hurt, and Neesmith gets hurt, and Mathurin gets hurt, and then Murphy's out for the season, it's like, okay, well, yeah, we kind of losing games now. We don't have players. But we lose so many games. We get a top pick. We trade it for Zubac. We get a top pick. This is a competitive team next year. Same goes for other teams. The quickest way sometimes to get better is have a bad year. You have one bad year, get some good players, build yourself back up. Like the Wizards. I don't think the Wizards are going to be a great team next year. But they have, obviously they traded for Trae Young. They traded for Anthony Davis. They have some good players, young players. They get a top pick. They can at least be competitive next year. And I'm not saying be a playoff run, but could be around 500 next year, and that's going to be better. Tanking to me isn't always the worst thing. Some teams, that's kind of what they have to do. There's teams, like the Kings. They suck. They're a terrible team. There's no we're tanking to be a better team. They suck. If you're going to a Kings game, you know what to expect. Same for I'd say for the Pacers this year. I get it. Again, we have had injuries, but you know what the Pacers are doing this year. We're not a competitive team. We watch them. You're gonna see a bunch of young players go out there, start playing some games. They might win, they might lose. Who cares? Now, the only time I have an actual issue with it is something like the Jazz are doing. If you are winning a game and you intentionally lose the game, that should be punished.
Yeah, the deliberate like that. Yeah.
If you're trying to
Uh,
tank, I don't necessarily say that's an issue. But if you purposely are winning a game and then just choose to lose, okay, that's something has to be looked into. Because okay, what are you doing? That's not
So,
that's not good.
so I feel like just like the total like as far as like all American sports, we're talking about the big four sports. What they all have in common, no matter all their differences, is a draft, and it has some semblance of like the worst teams have the best odds, or at least get the top picks, and then the better teams get the lower priority. I did hear a very fascinating take on like what could be a replacement on the draft. I was listening to the Rich Paul Max Kellerman show, and Rich Paul, he's an agent, like he's very tuned in on what NBA players like and don't like. And he came up with the idea, which wasn't like fully fleshed out, but I kind of saw where he was going with, where now instead of having like, all right, let's just say the Utah Jazz the worst team in the NBA, right? Like obviously in a typical draft, they would usually be the best pick. Now instead of doing a draft, maybe you could do something along the lines of like, hey, let's kind of open it up like a free agency where like in a sense where it's like, all right, if you're the Jazz, you have like here's your top five priority players that you'd maybe want to sign, and then the NBA player, the potential NBA players have the right to reject. Like, all right, I don't want to do negotiations with the Jazz, so I'm just gonna full on pass. Some people would think like, well, how is this gonna stop from like the Los Angeles, the Miami's of the world, like the more places you'd rather be to be loaded with talent? But it ultimately comes down to like, well, there's only so many minutes for all these players. And for a team like the Jazz, maybe like someone that maybe wouldn't be projected number one, but like would say like, hey, I could see myself being a starter immediately and having the most play times. I'm actually gonna want to go to the Jazz. And maybe with like the worst records, you could give them like a priority of like, all right, you have more spending than a team that's better. So it's like, oh well, I want to go to the Lakers, but I can only spend like I can only get like a $5 million contract, or I could go to the Jazz and get like a $20 million contract. So I'm going to get paid more, to play on a
Yeah.
place that maybe ideally you wouldn't want to go to elsewise. So what do you guys think about that?
I think I saw a snippet of that interview, but I didn't see all that. That actually sounds like an enticing idea. I mean, it levels the playing field a little bit, right? And because when you have like Nike and all these big corporations involved, obviously you're going to want the stars to go to the big cities. But that does sound like a very very good solution. Rich Paul's a smart guy. Um, that definitely, I would say yes.
That's something like I said. For that, it would either be I could see that working. Definitely, if the teams that with the worst records get more spending than a team with the higher records, that makes sense. I say it's got to be something along those lines. Or the only other thing I can see is that if you can firmly prove that a team is tanking and intentionally losing, you just take their pick away. Because that's the only other
Mm-hmm.
way I can see that stops them from doing it. Because I mean, again, it's hard to tell. It's going to be hard. That makes that hard. It's hard to tell who's really tanking, who's just bad, obviously. But like again, in a situation like the Jazz, who obviously intentionally lost, you're gonna do that. Guess what? You just won't get that pick, all right? You can't do
So
it.
So a funny little thing, because they have a podcast together. So like Kellerman was pushing back on Rich Paul, because Rich Paul was specifically saying like, oh, the Jazz aren't purposely tanking, which we know is bullshit. But as an agent, you can't just flat out say like if he has a representative on the Jazz, it's gonna look bad for one of the players he's representing, saying like, oh, they're not trying to win. So
Yeah,
obviously Rich Paul can't put that, like he has his own internal biases. But when it comes down to it, like how many times have we seen players be like, I just want to go there? Like look at the Hawks when they drafted Reese Shea. Alexander Saw was the bona fide one pick. But Alexander Saw dug his feet in the ground, saying, "I will not play for the Hawks. I do not think I'm a good fit there. I don't want to go with their number one pick." So he went to number two instead to the Wizards. And then now the Hawks argue. I mean, no one talks about how much of a bust Reese Shea is. He's arguably one of the worst number one pick busts ever. But no one talks about him because no one even thinks about him. Where
Yeah,
they wanted Sar instead. So it's like you can't full like because like ultimately players have their preferences. So like why not let them have some kind of freedom in that sense if there is a even playing field where the worst teams have more money to spend and the better teams have less money to spend on rookies.
that's
yeah, and
something.
Adam Silver did threaten to do anything. Like he said he would. He's considering everything. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. But I do think
And to,
that's
I
one of
just
the
want
better
to
solutions.
kind of end this and move on. Right now we're just kind of talking about the worst teams in the league. So now that we mention it, we can might as well just go to the best teams in the league. Obviously, we've talked about the East a good amount in these shows. And when you look at the East, obviously you got your top four teams. That's really what the East is: Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs. That's what it is. But when you go to the West, I feel like 1 through 6 is very competitive. Other than maybe the Lakers, you can kind of throw the Lakers out. They are 5 right now, but I don't know how many people are really looking at them. Obviously, you're always going to look at them just because of the Luca aspect. Luca's going to be competitive. But other than that, you can say what you got to say about the Lakers. But 1 through 6 in the West is Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves. Where do you see all these teams falling in the playoffs? I obviously the Thunder are probably going to finish this number one, but I mean, with those 6 teams, a team like the Nuggets who are dealing with injuries right now, and the teams like the Timberwolves who are number 6, do you think those two teams can make it far in the West this year?
You want to take the floor, Tyler? Oh, Tyler. Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
okay. So I get okay. I'll take it from here. I mean, yeah, I think bona fide Thunder, Spurs. I think they're top two teams, no doubt. I do have some questions about the Nuggets at the 3 right now. I mean, they're 2 wins ahead of the Rockets because they played 2 more games than the Rockets. They have the same amount of losses, so it's like not so like they can fall. And it's like Jokic's health has been a big question mark for this team, and the team runs through him, like no doubt.
And
Like the
Aaron Gordon's
Jamal,
out for the next 4 to 6 weeks too, so they're going to be missing him as well.
he's a crucial piece. Like you're gonna
yeah,
have to lean on Jamal Murray, and Jamal Murray's had knee problems in his career, so like it's gonna be hard to ride on him if he doesn't have pieces around him to help prop him up.
yeah. And
And
the Denver Nuggets, like going into the season, people would have said that would have been a hard matchup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You start off the year with Aaron Gordon being injured, and then he has a second leg injury. You have the Christian Braun injury, and then when you get those guys back, Peyton Watson, who was a up and coming stud, doing really really good things, and then on top of that, you had the Jokic injury. It's going to be very very hard for them to stay afloat. But if this team does get healthy, I still think that's a threat in the West. I really do. Yes, do I want to see them get some games before the playoffs together? Absolutely. But come playoffs, that roster is constructed in a way it could do some damage. But the thing is can they stay healthy? Right now, the answer is no. It's absolutely no. Julian Strother has been playing a lot better, but that's not somebody you could play in the playoffs because he can't play defense. Tim Hardaway Jr. playing really well, shooting the ball well. I don't know if that's somebody you could, it's going to be hunted in the playoffs. Bruce Brown, he's been playing better as of late, but he's had a total decline from the year he was a championship. So there's a lot of questions for this Denver Nuggets team, but I wouldn't just write them off because of what they've shown to do in the playoffs when they are healthy.
I do worry about Jamal Murray though, just because of how many leg injuries he has in all this team right now. Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson, and Tamar Bates. Those are 3 guards that are injured right now. That's 3 depth players that could, give him some rest who are out. So that's gonna make it that he has to play more time throughout the regular season. So when they do make the playoffs, he's gonna have played a lot of minutes, a lot of games. It makes you worry about what could happen in the playoffs if time comes.
And
I
they
mean,
could
that's a good
very well
point because you've seen
slide.
it happen. You've seen it happen when somebody has to carry the burden like that, and what happens in the playoffs. So that's a really good point. Is Jamal Murray going to be able to get some assistance in the regular season because he'll need it.
I mean, it's also too. I mean, when you look at the West, like The Suns are at 32 and 23. The Nuggets in the third seed are 35 and 20. So you see several teams jockeying for positions where if this Nuggets team ends up sliding because of all their injuries, it's going to be an uphill battle come playoff time because you always want the home crowd, and Denver does have a solid fan base. Like it's undeniable. I mean, again, when you're a mile up in the air, like you're gonna have an advantage regardless. But
Hmm.
like Denver always has a good fan base for the Nuggets, and you want those home games. And if you're gonna be traveling away to you know, you pick your team, whether it's going to be a, I don't know, I don't think they're going to slide that far. Like maybe they could fall beneath the Timberwolves possibly. So now you're looking at, now I got to fly to Houston, I got to fly to maybe LA, which LA is not that far of a flight, all things considered. But it's just like you don't want to leave it up to chance to, all right, now we got to play all out in all these away games.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
while we're on the West, I wanted to talk about how important this year is for the Minnesota Timberwolves. After being to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row, and they've been about same in the standings, but let's say they digress or don't get back, unable to get over that hump. You got to start asking yourself: is Anthony Edwards going to be happy? Is he going to want to stay in this town of Minnesota? His home is in Atlanta. There's been some rumblings about talking to Jalen Johnson, but with that aside, this is a defining season for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, absolutely is. They've shown what they're capable of, and now a digression, would be catastrophical for this team. So I'm going to be watching that team. The Mavs actually play them first game back.
okay.
I expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to make a push and get in the playoffs. But if they get ousted in the first or second round, there's going to be a lot of questions surrounding the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I mean, they've made it farther every single year they've been in the playoffs. Like that, each year they've made it one step farther and lost. So I mean, I think you definitely can't count them out with being in the playoffs. They're gonna have an experience over a team like the Spurs. Now the Spurs, obviously, the talent is there. They got all the talent. They're competing with. They're the number 2 team in the West. They can beat the Thunder. But the Timberwolves, when it comes to like a team against Timberwolves and Spurs, again, it comes Spurs got talent. Timberwolves have all the playoff experience. Spurs have no playoff experience really. So that's gonna be something that you might have to look out for. I feel like it's not as big as sometimes people make out to think because these players have talent. They're gonna win, but there always is playoff experience that comes into play.
How
And I
nice would
do
that
want to
playoff series be? Go
It
ahead,
would be
bro.
crazy. I mean, I think it is worth underlining his talks with Jalen Johnson, talking about how he wants to go back home. And it's like, saying that out loud in front of a bunch of cameras and microphones, like, he obviously meant what he says. Like, I don't think Anthony Edwards is the type of dude that's just gonna lie like
Right.
that. And also the Timberwolves have set a pretty high bar. Has been a team that's been to the Western Conference Finals. So maybe Anthony Edwards could very well be on his last straw, where if they do have a disappointing season, they're out in the first round, maybe we will start seeing rumblings about Anthony Edwards wanting out. Like, that could very well be possible. So if the Timberwolves do make it to the third round and make a crazy run, maybe Anthony Edwards will have some second questions, but it could very well, we could very well start seeing like a disgruntled Anthony Edwards, which I don't think the Timberwolves brass wants to see.
Yeah.
No.
And we talked about the Nuggets, the number 3 seed. We've talked about the Timberwolves, and the number 6 seed. So we might as well talk about the other two teams, the 4 and 5 seed. 4 seed being the Houston Rockets at 33 and 20, only one game above the Lakers at 33 and 21. What do you see out of the Houston Rockets team? Because my biggest issue with the Rockets is their ball movement. They don't really have a guard. And I think that becomes a big issue. Now, obviously, Kevin Durant, he's going to score. He's their leading scorer, averaging 26 points a game still. Sengun's their biggest rebounder. He's their center, averaging just under 10 rebounds. But he's also their leading assister, averaging 6 assists a game. Their point guard right now is Amin Thompson, which I really like Amin Thompson. I really do. He's very athletic. He's a great defender. He's not a point guard, though. He's just not a
Mm-hmm.
point guard, and they have him playing point guard. And I feel like that could become an issue in the playoffs.
And
Absolutely.
Kevin Durant on his burner definitely bluntly said to Sengun, like, yeah, you suck at defense and you can't score at will, so why are you the main ball handler? I mean, I'm not saying it word for word, of course, but he's essentially
Yeah,
saying that
basically.
because Sengun would have to be that guy. He would have to be a Sabonis-like player where you have to hope he gets your triple-double and plays good enough defense to really be worth being the main ball handler. But I think it's definitely a real point, Paris, that they don't have real facilitators on that team. Now it'll probably be ultimately their downfall.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I just think they're asking Kevin Durant to do too much. He's a 37-year-old guy, and without Fred VanVleet, their point guard, uh, without Kevin Durant scoring 30 every night, what does this team do? And you've seen them lose a lot of games like that. You could put it on the shoulders of Alperen Sengun, and he just hasn't shown that he could be that dude yet. He's shown glimpses of greatness. I wouldn't say greatness. He's shown glimpses of being a good player, but he's also shown to be awful on defense. People are starting to hunt him on defense. People love to see him when he's defending you because he's an easy bucket if he's on you. So I just think there's too many problems for these Rockets to overcome. And as the season gets longer and into playoffs, I don't think that bodes well for Kevin Durant and his age. I don't think you'll be able to see the same playoff KD as you've seen in the past. It very well could be a first round exit for the Houston Rockets.
I do worry about Kevin Durant just a little bit. Obviously, he's a leading scorer, but he's also the leading minute getter. He's averaging 37 minutes a game. Doing that all
Yeah.
season, he's only missed what 4 games. He's played 50 games, averaging 37 minutes a game. That's just not sustainable going the entire season. Like,
No.
So, I found the direct words from Get Off My Dickerson on Twitter.
Read
These
it.
are his precise words. Coach called that play to pass to Alpi, LOL. I'm going to turn the ball over with this shitty ass team. I don't give a fuck. Your franchise player can't shoot or defend. That's a way bigger issue than my turnovers. Remember, these guys are your future. And I mean, it's like, look, I'm a big Alperen Sengun defender. I do think he's still a very young dude. Like, he's only, like, what, he's 5 years in the league now, so it's like, he
averaging
also has
26
quite
or
a.
29 and 6. Like, he's
Yeah,
got talent.
and I think that someone like Ahmed Thompson, he's only in his second year. Like, I think he has the ceiling to have the potential to see the court and be a better facilitator. He already averages 5 assists per game. So he's not even that far behind Sengun per se, but that's also expecting a lot from a second year guy to be your main ball handler too. And like you said, Tyler, expecting Kevin Durant to drop 30 every night to cover for the bad shooting and the lack of scoring from Sengun will definitely put a strain on everything. So like winning now, I don't think the Rockets team has the capability to win now, but they're nevertheless very talented. They're more than capable of making a deep run, but these glaring issues are not going to be something that's easy to fix,
And they
especially now.
And
and they really
outside of
have
Reed Shepard, you just don't have a good 3-point shooting team.
yeah, Reed Shepard and Kevin Durant, and they just have no depth. I mean, like I said, you have your starting lineup, and then you have Reed Shepard, and that's about it. Their next highest person is Steven Adams, and Steven Adams has been great his entire career, but like he's old, man. He's just
And
old.
he's injured for the season.
And so then you
He's
got Thomas
yeah.
Eason, Aaron Holiday, Josh Okogie. Like they just Clint Capella plays sometimes. He's get 12 minutes. Just like they just don't really. That's why Kevin Durant is averaging 37 minutes and Thompson's averaging 37 minutes. You don't got nobody to
Yeah.
replace them at all.
Yeah, and then you got also Kevin Durant despises his teammate Jabari Smith Jr. too.
He
Oh
does.
goodness. Yeah, okay, so I'll read. I can't trust Jabari to make a effing shot or get a stop. Just don't give him a tech FT to BH. He's low key retarded. And then
said
you
like
know
that.
how and then the very right afterwards he has some laughing crying emojis. I really gotta laugh to stop from crying. I swear I miss Ben Simmons.
That was
Least
wild.
that fella would give me the ball. Which, if you miss Ben Simmons, who's now on like other side of the world fishing, yeah, I bet he hates his life in Houston if he misses Ben Simmons.
Oh
That's all
my
I gotta
gosh.
say.
To say he misses Ben Simmons is a wild. That's another thing where it's like I was reading this and it's just like he obviously that whatever he posted that was the day they lost. He was pissed because that's not you can't just I miss Ben Simmons. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah,
No, those are
no.
words you never
This
say.
is
So like,
That's
late night
crazy.
staring at your ceiling, can't go to sleep. You miss Ben Simmons. Like that's not a normal thought going through your head. I'm sorry.
It's
That
like
is crazy.
so. Like, yeah, I mean, he definitely has
At least he
issues.
passes the ball. What?
He has issues with them, which is, but it's one of those all his issues he points out. On the facts. Like he's not lying though. Like when he even before when he talked about Devin Booker, what did he say? He said when we lose, it's because of me, but when we win, it's Devin Booker's team. Yeah,
Well,
he's not lying. He's not lying.
but Kevin Durant is a baller for hire. Like he's like the assassin equivalent to an NBA player. Like ever since he left Golden State, he hasn't been a winning player. Is he a great player? Yes. Is he one of the most skillful guys? Yes. But is he a winning player? Absolutely not. Like we've seen him on enough teams now, and his lack of sticking with a team to try to build around him, like it's very evident that there's a ceiling to a Kevin Durant team, and unless you have the right team around Kevin Durant, he's gonna go and cry and say that everybody sucks and is retarded. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, hopefully Ben Simmons has a spark to come back to the NBA now. I was like, wow, one person doesn't completely hate me that I played with. All right, maybe I'll hop on a Kevin Durant team when he's on the Minnesota Timberwolves next year when Anthony Edwards is on the Hawks. Like, who knows? Who knows at this
Yeah.
point? You know.
I'm sure Ben Simmons is the happiest person coming out of All-Star Weekend.
He's the
Yes,
biggest winner.
sir.
He's the biggest winner. Kevin Durant's on his side at least.
And then the last team in the West, number 5 seed, last to a half game back from the Rockets. All the Lakers at 33-21. As it stands, Rockets 4, Lakers 5. This would be a series, one of the first round series for each other, Rockets and Lakers. One, how do you see that series going? And two, do you have any faith that Lakers team could even win a series in the playoffs?
If we want to talk about top-heavy teams, I mean, you're looking at the Lakers there. Like, they have flashy names. I mean, like, obviously, Luka Doncic. Like, this is the Luka Doncic show once again. It's no different than him on Dallas. This is the Luka Doncic show. Hopefully, you get the corpse of LeBron James to show up in the playoffs because when he cares and wants to play, he's still spectacular. Austin Reeves is now back and healthy, so obviously you can't rule him out.
Right.
I mean, like,
Aiton's
you
starting
got
to
your
slow down again. Aiton started off real hot, and now he's been like he's getting back to what we expected of DeAndre Ayton.
respectfully,
playoff Luka gives you-
DeAndre Ayton. Sorry, one more
Go
thing.
ahead,
DeAndre
finish,
Ayton
brother.
respectfully does not have passion. He does not have passion for the game. I do not trust him with the game on the line. I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Playoff Luka will give you a shot in any playoff series, but again, he cannot do it alone. Will Austin Reeves be able to step up? Will James be able to be unworldly again? Like as fact as his, the age and the wear and tear. Will he be able to do the same things that he's been doing? But I will say that's a winnable series against the Houston Rockets just because of what we just mentioned. I think the ceiling for the Lakers is probably second round because, you mentioned DeAndre Ayton. That stuff becomes a problem in the playoffs. The ability, and there's so many other holes in that roster. They just added Luke Kennard. But I don't see the Lakers getting past the second round. But Luka will give you a chance. I mean, you've seen Demon play off Luka, and that's not somebody that you could just say, oh yeah, he's first round exit. But
Tyler, I'm gonna push back on you. If the Rockets and Lakers play in that first round, I'm taking the Rockets. I'm sorry, but I do not see a washed Marcus Smart coming off the bench, bricking half his shots and saying like, all right, this is gonna be our solid no Luka Doncic minutes. Like you're gonna have to beg and pray that Luka Doncic carries you the whole way, in my opinion, to beat the Rockets.
I mean that's totally fair. We'll do a little pull the chair, little bet for the fans and Rockets will be favored in that series. Don't get me wrong, but we haven't seen this Lakers team fully healthy, and they have been pretty successful with those three on the floor. So hey, that'll be interesting to see. And starting talking about the playoffs is getting me excited because to me, there's nothing better than NBA playoff basketball. And with the East wide open, 4 teams that could win it, and with the West now some teams that might be able to contend with the Thunder, this is going to be a great playoffs, and I'm here for it.
what I see happening, I think the Nuggets will fall. I don't think they'll fall as long as Jokic stays healthy. I don't think they'll end the season 3, but I don't think they'll fall past 5. I think 5 is probably the lowest they'll go. I could see the Lakers falling a little bit. They're at 5. I could see them falling to 6 or 7. But the Suns, because the Suns are 32 and 23, so they're really not that far back. I don't know if the Suns can keep up, but I mean, like, I could see the Lakers falling from 5 to 6. I could see the Timberwolves making a 5 or 4 push. So that goes to say, if they do that, I feel like the Rockets at 4 kind of even out. I don't think they're going to move forward from 4. But if you had a Rockets and Timberwolves first round matchup, who are you taking?
I mean, I'm pretty high on the Timberwolves. I do think the Timberwolves, they're definitely the team that I would say on like the bottom half of the playoffs that could absolutely make a run. And as far as young, energetic guys that could take over a series, give me Anthony Edwards over most of these young guys, in my opinion.
What about
So
Amen Thompson guarding Ant, though?
I think Anthony Edwards is gonna little boy Amin Thompson, honestly, like, cause I think it's also a mentality thing too. Because Anthony Edwards, he's loud, he'll let you know that you ain't shit. Amin Thompson seems like a quiet dude, so unless if he's like just an iron she will guy that won't let Anthony Edwards get to you, Anthony Edwards definitely gonna be playing mind games.
I'm actually going with the Timberwolves too, just because of the fact of the experience in the playoffs and the lack of experience on the Houston Rockets. It'll be a good series, but yeah, I see the Timberwolves. I mean, Ant Edwards is another one of those dudes who turns into a different guy in the playoffs.
He does.
And that would be a
He's
good
already
series,
a
though.
star player just in the regular season. So,
And that
but-
trash talk between KD and Ant would be epic.
but I like the matchup. I mean, you get Amon versus Ant, you get Randall versus KD, and you get Gobert versus Sengun. That's basically what you see.
Edwards packed up the Suns last year, so who's to say he doesn't do it to Durant again? You know?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Definitely with Kevin Durant playing more minutes all season this year, he might be. I don't want to say gas because he's done this, but like at being older and playing so many minutes, so many games, unless you start seeing him slow down towards the end of the season, which I feel like you might see, you can see that team getting tired going into the playoffs for the Rockets. So, I mean, the Rockets are they're a good team, the number 4 seed, but it seems like we're kind of all in agreement that as a 4 seed, they could be one of the first top teams to be bounced in the first round.
I mean,
I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited, though. Definitely excited.
Well, definitely, that's going to be a wrap up for the Pull the Chair podcast this week. Stay tuned for next week. We're getting closer and closer to the NBA playoffs. See if there's any development on Adam Silver in this tanking situation, because he's very serious about wanting to put a stop to this. And as he says, he would do any means necessary to put a stop to it. So let's see if they can figure out what they're going to do. And I mean, see how the league wraps up. But stay tuned next week on the Pull the Chair podcast.
Get off my dick.